Hi, everybody. I'm Rose Rosen, as you guys know, and this is Kim Swanson and her puppy.
I love it.
No, that's perfect. And we're just going to shoot the breeze about acting. Kim's a casting director in Los Angeles and St. Louis, and she does all the same things I do, basically everything from commercials to films to internet to unscripted. Her and I both do a lot of that. And we just wanted today talk a little bit about profiles and what you guys can do during this strange time in your downtime to really up your business. So hi, Kim.
Hey, Rose. How you doing, doll?
I'm good. How are you?
So good to see you.
So good to see you, even across the country. I mean, this is a treat.
Right. It is. We don't get to chat often enough. We need to do it more often.
We will. In front of 1,000 people or so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They really want to hear us talk, but okay.
So I think actors are listening to us, and I'm wondering what you think of what's like a most important thing. I'm wanting them to fill out their profiles and stuff. What do you think is good to do during downtime?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so much you can be doing. You know, I don't want actors to feel overwhelmed because this is an overwhelming time, but I feel like if you create yourself a little checklist and go down that list and try and accomplish something like every week, or, you know, if you can every day or every other day, a little 5-minute task, then once this pandemic is lifted and everything, you're going to be so on track and ready to hit the ground running, you know? But, you know, we were talking today, like, I think one of the biggest issues are actors get lazy with completing their profiles, putting in a resume on their accounts, you know, casting networks, LA Casting, Breakdown, all those things. And it's just so irritating. I'm thinking, if you want me to take time to look at you, consider you, audition you, like, take the time to put in a resume, for Pete's sakes. Like, it's not that hard. There's no other job in the world where you're going to show up and say, hire me, but not have a resume. Why would you think this is any different, you know?
No, that's so true. I think all those little boxes. So what the actors don't realize is each of those fields that they fill out in all of the platforms, Casting Networks, Casting Frontier, Breakdown, it's all this LA Casting, you know, it's all the same, but those boxes are searchable independently. So if you upload your resume, like as a sheet of paper, that's lovely, but I can't search that. So if you happen to be a great unicyclist, I need to know that when I need to know that, and it has to be in the searchable box. Mm-hmm. So that's important that you take time to fill it out. And if you have trouble with this, I've never met a mean person in any of these companies. They're all great. They're all there to help both us and the actors. And you just call them. It's really nothing with nothing.
Yeah, it really is. And I agree, you know, like, I don't think actors understand how much skill, you know, like, I just did a casting that just sent off the link this morning to the client. And in the description of the character said, must have mad teleprompter skills. Right. So I searched for people who had teleprompter checked in their profiles, right? Because if they didn't check it then, they probably haven't gained that skill since, right? So, and I had agents saying, I wanted to send you so-and-so anyway. And I'm like, no, like, or, you know, you didn't select so-and-so to do a self-tape. You know, I think you should take a look at them. I said, they don't even have a resume. Why would I think that they have all the qualifications and teleprompting experience because, like, I know what this job is going to take. And that's, you know, that's what we do. I don't think people realize that when we make those selections, it's not because we're being mean or we like someone more than we like somebody else, but we're looking for specific skills or qualifications or needs for the client. We know what it is they're looking for.
Right. We have to. So interesting note. So, like, while you were talking, you went boop, boop. And I think it's about internet connection, which leads me to another point, that they need to check these things because everything's going to be virtual. I know some casting directors are doing in-person auditions. I won't be doing them. I've committed to not doing them until at least January, if not maybe forever. I mean, I think the virtual platforms are amazing, and their technology is growing at leaps and bounds at this moment. Like, so many heads are behind that kind of technology, just like the vaccine. And I don't mean to compare the two, but I am saying the industry is big and they have great resources and they're using all of their smarts because these are complicated platforms. I mean, I talk to these people and that make this stuff and it's fascinating and I'm just grateful to have it.
Right.
But so things like you want to check your internet connection and make sure that you have a strong connection. So when you do a virtual casting, we could see you and you don't get glitchy and stuff. So that's important. And you want to check your sound and your lighting and your whole setup. That's a really good thing to do now too, don't you think?
Oh, totally. And I think too, it does get overwhelming because, for an actor, you used to be, you could just walk into a room, know your words, say your lines, be in character, not worry about your framing. You weren't worried about the lighting. You weren't worried about uploading. So there is a lot more that we're having to require actors to do because of the current situation. And obviously being in the room is much lovelier because we can redirect and there are things that we can do that you get a vibe from someone you don't get just on the screen, however, this is what it is, and we have to do our best that we can with it. And I think that once actors get in that groove more and more of doing more and more virtual and learning the different programs that various casting directors are working with, and they get more comfortable with it, they're going to love it more. But there is a learning curve for everyone.
I think it gives them, conversely, I think it gives them all the opportunities. I think coming in the room is the coldest situation, even with you and I, who are pretty warm in the room, I would think, always smiling, always, saying.
I'm so mean.
Well, there's a number of us that are, but we are probably not in that camp. And so I think even with that being said, they're still intimidated and it still throws their read off. So I think giving them a self-tape really gives them power to tape as many times as you want until you like it. And then, send me however many I asked for, 1, 2, whatever, maybe I asked for 10 takes, who knows?
Right?
Not likely.
You do that all the time. I know. Because what you want to do is sit through 10 takes of each talent, right?
Right? Yeah, that's you too, right? Exactly. So you guys, think about that. What I always say to actors is have some compassion for us and think about, following your directions and just really think about what you're doing so that it doesn't make my day longer. Because if anything aggravates me, and I can see on Kim's face, same thing. If anything aggravates us, it's just taking time to do stuff that we shouldn't have to do, because if each person does their little part, then we do our part and it's all done and everybody's happy and nobody feels stressed and overworked. And
well, I think people forget reading is fundamental.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
We don't sit and type up these instructions because we have nothing better to do with our time.
Right.
And I type up very specific step-by-step instructions because what the client wants, what they're used to, what they expect. And I do that because I want you to get the job. I want you to have a fair shake. So I'm giving you all the information you need to get the job, everything from what to wear to how to play the role to how many takes to do to how to do a profile shot to how to slate, to all the things you could possibly ever want to know. I try and put in that audition information so that you're not left standing there with a bunch of questions you can't ask me because I'm not in person. So
exactly. Read the directions. You're not going to believe this. We have a crasher and wait till you see who it is.
Oh,
it's Tommy Kouloukas from Casting Networks. Hey, thanks for crashing in. So good to see you.
Nice to see you all as well.
You seem to always be on my Zoom. I don't know what happens here, but there you are.
Here I am. This is all I do anymore.
I know. I thought maybe you had a few other things to do. So what's new at Casting Networks? Tell us.
So I want to start with, I was listening to what you all were saying, and so I wanted to give some examples
Thank you.
that happened recently of either castings I virtually sat in on, or some calls that casting directors made to me that resulted in frustration or potentially talent getting overlooked. So the first thing you talked about is putting the profile in. There was a casting director doing a union job, but they're like, this talent says they're non-union, but I know they're union, or vice versa. And there's filtering tools that you can kind of find talent that fit that criteria. So if you don't put that in, if that CD doesn't know right off the bat, they might be like, oh, this person's not union, and whatever that is. So one thing to think about, if you don't fill that out, that's, you could be missing out because they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be truthful.
Yeah, exactly. I would be truthful.
And truthful on your age range. Hello.
The age range, the weight, we don't care. I swear to God, we don't care how, but we do if we're fitting you into a size 12 dress or a size 8 dress or a size 32 pant.
But being delusional and thinking you look 20 years younger than you do,
that's ridiculous.
Well, you're losing out on work.
Right.
Yeah.
We need the older actors, and you're not submitting for those when you're older. We need someone who isn't a size 0, but you're trying to tell everybody you're a size 0 and 25 years old. I'm like, honey, if you're 25, I am 15. Like,
exactly.
Right?
No, for sure.
I didn't interrupt you, Tommy.
Tell us more.
No, that I love it. Resume. Another thing that you all talked about is like, make sure that's not only there, but up to date, because you might be looking at that and be like, oh, they haven't worked in a really long time or done anything different, even if it's something small. But maybe you have, and that might be helpful to know if you're looking to cast something. So that's another thing that comes up. Practicing self-tape. So not just waiting until you get that self-tape request to be like, okay, now I'm going to get my space and figure out how to work everything. Just do a monologue and just practice that, and send that, if you have an agent, send that to your agent, get their feedback, or send that to a friend. Make sure that looks really good, and then you'll be ready for when that self-tape request comes in, because there's so many self-tapes that you can tell they're just like winging it and didn't know what they were doing.
For sure. Oh, and by the way, Tommy and I did an hour on how to self-tape, so you can find that on my YouTube channel, and it's very informative, I think.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll mention is Skype and Zoom. So there, hopefully we'll see more of this stuff built out on the casting platforms, but a lot of people are using Skype and Zoom to do remote auditions, right? And I sat in on one, and I would say about half the time was the session runner going, can you please make sure that you know how to turn your camera on? Can you please make sure you know how to do the audio? So test that ahead of time. I know it seems obvious, but not everyone's using Skype all the time. Like, get on Skype, make sure it connects with whatever device you're using, that your audio and video works. Because when you're in session, it's so frustrating if your stuff doesn't work. It's like, okay, let's end this. We'll call you back once you figure it out. And it was just nonstop back and forth. So take the time to, specifically with Skype and Zoom, just, call your friend, test it out, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, and hit the record button and have a look at what you're doing. I mean, you can easily do that on Zoom. Skype, you need an extra thing, but
you call recorder. Yeah.
But it's cheap.
And it's handy to have. Because of course, Rose and I, we've done reality things, unscripted things, and for years that's been our tool of choice, is like Skype with call recorder. But I love it because you can even record, family chats, or, you've got an older grandma or something, and, it's just kind of nice to have that video. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for $40, it's really a fun little computer toy, but no. So was that it, Tommy? Was
that's it? No, those are the things that kind of jumped out at me as things that, people are like, well, what can I do right now? It's like, those are pretty simple. And there's really no excuse not to make sure your profile's up to date, make sure you test these things out, and just be ready.
Right. Because there's work. There's commercials that are happening.
They're still happening.
There's episodics. There are things that are shooting very safely. where, we're starting to figure it out. And I think it's not too far away from actually having people extraordinarily safe on set. Right now, I think they're very few are really safe. There's some, but I think we're figuring it out. Yeah, and you got to keep at it. If you're at home, you got to use your time, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's different types of projects. Like you see, like a print project that's just photos, right? And so it's a photo poll. There's all sorts of different things that are going on. So you just got to make sure that you're on top of it in terms of your profile. And don't think that there's nothing going on, because there's definitely still stuff. It's less, the volume is less, but it's not completely dead like some people say. They're like, oh, there's absolutely nothing going on anywhere. It's not true. And it hasn't ever been the case, even when this stuff was going crazy back in March, or when like everything was completely shut down. There was still some stuff trickling through. So
different now. But anyway, so that being said, we probably all have to get back to work. I know you're busy creating things, and so are you, Kim. And anyway, what a delight this has been. Thank you for sharing a few minutes with me. We'll do it again, I hope.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too.
all right.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.